Hi everybody, welcome to Real Rebel. Today I am joined by Mr. Real Rebel. He's gonna talk about some movies with us. And also we have for the first time for both of us, we are going to build a gingerbread house.
Ash is gonna help.
Ash is gonna help.
3D Christmas.
A very Harold and Kumar Christmas. I actually thought that there were some really seriously laugh out loud moments. It's
a good spot, Ash. Just right by the mic. Perfect.
Yeah. In Harold and Kumar, ridiculous things happened to those characters, and then they were forced to deal with it, which I think makes for better comedy. Mm-hmm. And Danny Trejo is in it. He was Machete, and I love that guy. And
who doesn't love?
Yeah, and that's basically why Harold has this whole movie to begin with, is because he's trying to find a Christmas tree to replace the one that got destroyed, and so that his father-in-law, played by Danny Trejo, doesn't kill him. And I enjoyed it.
Neil Patrick Harris does a stellar performance as well too.
Yeah, he's good in it. And the friendship between these two guys is. It's at a point where they've grown apart, but then they come back together and realize that importance between the two of them. So I enjoyed it. I give it 3 cat paws.
I give it 3 cat paws too. I liked it.
So next movie on our list, do you want to take this one?
Sure. So Bad Santa, which we have actually seen once before. Brooke must have been on a drinking binge because she doesn't remember anything from it the previous time. But I do remember watching this prior to our most recent viewing. And I actually think it's a really decent movie. They do a good job with, I think the biggest mistake they could have made is having the Billy Bob Thornton's character be redeemable. And I think that they were smart not to make him redeemable. But he did the right thing to a degree at the end. But it wasn't like he got away with all the criminal stuff he was doing. And I think it was good that he recognized that he's going to have to go to jail. And I think that was actually a good thing. And I think they made a good effort throughout the movie to show that the Billy Bob Thornton character had reason to change. And he was given enough time, enough things to happen where, again, he's not going to be a perfect person, but he's going to do the right thing and try to protect that kid.
I agree. I enjoyed it a lot. A friend of mine said that this was one of his favorite Christmas movies, and so I was like, oh gosh, I haven't seen that in years, so let's try that out. So I checked it out from the library, and it was, I liked it, and I would definitely give it 3 cat paws. I would say watch this one if you've never seen it. There's a lot of crude humor in this, just like Harold and Kumar has a lot of really crude humor, but it works because I liked the characters. And the same here with Bad Santa. And
if you're perverted like us.
He gets drunk one night and he eats this child's advent calendar candy, but then the next morning when he wakes up and realizes what he did when he was drunk, he feels remorse over it, which as the audience we know that this is something that he's never experienced before, and so you get to see this character grow as much as this character possibly could. Yeah.
So
3 cat paws.
3 cat paws?
Yeah.
I give it the same, 3 cat paws.
So next up is Ernest Saves Christmas. Yay, I bought the DVD so we could watch this. I enjoyed it. It's very silly. It's definitely aimed at young children, and so the humor is just, it's very slapstick. It's very simple. I have never seen any Ernest films before, but I enjoyed this one. Nope.
You have never seen Ernest Goes to Camp?
Nope.
Okay. I'll work on it. I agree. I think it's a very silly movie. But I think that if you can get past that and go into it knowing this is an Ernest movie, so you shouldn't be expecting anything close to Shakespeare, that you should go in with proper, very low expectations. I think they did a good job. I mean, I can't really give it, I don't know if I can give this 3 cat paws, because I think my credibility would be shot. But I'll give it 2.5. It's better than 2, I would say.
Yeah. So the next movie on our list is a movie called Happiest Season. And it starred Kristen Stewart, and also, most importantly, Daniel Levy was in it, who played David on Schitt's Creek. What were some of your thoughts about this?
I thought Daniel Levy was hysterical as he was on Schitt's Creek, and I think this movie irked me more than anything because it wasn't a horrible movie, but there's things about the characters and what they did that kind of drove me nuts because it's so unrealistic. And if I was, actually I enjoy Kristen Stewart in this probably the most outside of Daniel Levy's character, in the sense that she was probably the most, her and Aubrey Plaza too, because Aubrey Plaza was in, I enjoyed those two. And because I just felt like Kristen Stewart's girlfriend in this was so oblivious to how poorly she was treating Kristen, and like she knew she was treating her bad, but it was so bad, and she had a track record of doing this. And I understand her situation was tough to be in, but I think realistically in the real world, she would not have redeemed herself. And then the other thing I had an issue with the movie is the parents. That this idea that the parents would have turned around on a dime like that is just, I think given how they set them up, that just wasn't realistic. But that being said, I enjoy Kristen Stewart in this, and I enjoy Daniel Levy. I'd only give it 2 cat paws. Ash is already bored. He's like, okay, this is.
I sat through this movie. I have to hear about it. I agree with you. I had the same reaction to this movie. I cared about the Kristen Stewart character. I think I've only seen her in Twilight. I don't think I've seen her in anything else, and she was really good in this. She carried the movie. She did great. Her friend, played by Daniel Levy, was funny, and he probably actually had the best scene in the entire movie, and he was the one that delivered the lines in it. And basically the premise of this movie is the girlfriend of Kristen Stewart tells her to come home with her for Christmas. They are a gay couple, but what Kristen Stewart doesn't know until she gets there is that her girlfriend has never revealed to her parents that she's gay. And so this puts Kristen Stewart in a really awkward spot, because basically her girlfriend tells her, okay, you have to pretend that you're straight, and you're my roommate. I just want you here with me. I found myself irritated with the girlfriend a lot because she was so inconsiderate of Kristen Stewart. And then Aubrey Plaza, who had dated the girlfriend many years prior to this, kind of warned Kristen Stewart about her and said, hey, she, just so you know, she's probably never going to actually fight for you and say that she's with you. And I think a lot of people that I've read reviews on this movie said that they wish that those two would have gotten together, but in the confines of a movie, that wouldn't have worked in this movie. I think that maybe if it had been a television series, that they could have developed the Aubrey Plaza character enough that would have been a possibility, but in the confines of a movie, it wouldn't have worked very well.
Well, because then you would have the Kristen Stewart character bailing on the girlfriend so quickly and abruptly, without giving her a chance.
Right.
Which, in reality, I think you probably at that point could say, yeah, this probably isn't going to work.
Yeah.
But I think then that would, put Kristen Stewart's character in a bad light.
The reason that the girlfriend is so terrified to come out to her parents is that they're extremely judgmental. They have picture perfect from the outside. There's a scene where they establish that they are homophobic, and all of these things, and they've pitted their daughters against each other. I mean, this is definitely a pretty clear portrait of a dysfunctional, narcissistic family. I would watch it for Daniel Levy and Kristen Stewart. I think that it's worth watching for those two, but the way that the girlfriend, Mary Steenburgen, and her husband, the parents, turn around at the end and just do a complete 180. It's like, why? How did this happen? And it's just kind of like, basically the reason is because movie. Yeah. Because movie, and I don't blame the writers for wanting to have a happy sort of an ending to this story, because it's Christmas, but in reality it never would have worked.
But I think it
way.
shows a lack of understanding of the mental illness that goes into families like this, when parents are like that and they pit their kids against each other and they have this high level of expectation of perfection, that I think it's almost insulting to the real world situations that happen like this. Like if I had parents that were like that, and then I saw this movie portray my parents in the movie and then had them also do what I would have wanted them to do, I would have been kind of I would have been bothered by that. And I think that's the problem with a lot of these movies, that they create these characters that are so ridiculous and so extreme one way, and they don't give any thought to the fact that if they're this way, the chances of them changing and making significant change that's permanent, or is insignificant anyway, is really unrealistic, and it's not really sensitive to the fact that there are people out there like this and they don't change, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree.
How's that for an upper?
Totally. This is Scrooge. So this is Scrooge starring Albert Finney. This is a musical version of the classic Charles Dickens Tale of a Christmas Carol, and we watched it for the first time the other night, and what were some of your thoughts?
There's things I really liked. I thought Albert Finney was a great Scrooge. I think he played really well. I thought the cinematography of the sets were amazing, and I think the ghosts were done extremely well. I liked the look and feel of it, and especially the ghost of Present, because he was so large, and to be able to do that in that time era, with making having Albert Finney in the picture and not making it making it look real, like he's significantly larger. I thought it was great. The things I didn't care for was some of the singing was atrocious, and so some of the singing kind of dragged scenes out a little bit. But at the same time, I commend them for doing something different, because at this point there had been a number of different Scrooges or Christmas carols, whichever name you want to go under. So the fact they tried to do something a little bit different with the story was good.
I agree with you on the ghosts were so good in this. The ghost of Christmas past, present, and future. And I loved the past ghost. She expressed that she cared about Scrooge and that she was sad that he didn't really have a happy past. And then also Alec Guinness played Jacob Marley, who was Scrooge's old business partner, who comes and visits him to warn him that he's going to be visited by 3 ghosts, and he's got all the chains on him and everything. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, I think that's Alec Guinness, because otherwise I've only seen him in the Star Wars movies as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he doesn't have his beard in this movie, and so I was like, oh, that's Alec Guinness, and he has that incredible voice that you will be visited by 3 ghosts, and I'm like, oh, that's him, and he was great in it, and Albert Finney, he did a great job. I thought I loved the part where he's walking down this snowy Christmassy street, and he starts singing, I hate people, and I just burst out laughing. I'm like, that's great. By the end of this movie, he really comes around, and it was believable. It was a really great performance. I thought.
Yeah, this was probably the best performance.
And they all were. They all were great.
Performances were great.
Yeah, I'd give it, for me personally, I'd give it 3 cat paws because it's good. But for my friend, I'm gonna give it 4 cat paws. Okay, so then the final movie on our list, and it's called Almost Christmas. And it's
with Danny Glover.
With Danny Glover, who's amazing. And the basic premise of this movie is Danny Glover, the love of his life, his wife passed away about 10 months prior to this, and now it's Christmas, and so this is his and his family's first Christmas without the matriarch of this family, who really was the glue that held it together. All of the kids, I can't remember how many, there's quite 4 kids. 4 kids who all come home, and
I was paying attention.
And Danny Glover basically wants everybody back, and he realizes that if everybody can get along, that will be a Christmas miracle. All of these characters, they all have their own little problems. They're all going through life, and I love that every character on an ensemble piece, to be able to have this many people in it, and I care about all of them, and they all feel like real people. That's a triumph in a movie, so I gotta give it thumbs up for just that alone. Danny Glover is trying to recreate the sweet potato pie that his wife had made every Christmas for him, and it was delicious, and you see him in the movie just in the flashbacks eating this pie, and just how wonderful it was. And you see him make several attempts at trying to make this pie, and he fails. He just keeps failing at making this because no one can find the recipe book. it's a great metaphor for what's going on, where nothing's really working. You know, the kids aren't getting along. People are making some bad life decisions, and this pie just isn't working.
And then he finally decides to follow the Force.
Yeah.
Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan Kenobi talks with him.
I put that same note down.
Did you?
I did.
Oh, so it's like we have shared the same brain. It's a scary thought. I think that this movie, I liked it too. I liked it because it's a very typical type of setup with all the kids have their own personal problems. They don't necessarily get along. They don't interact outside the holiday seasons. They're coming together, and there's this catalyst that the mom passed away, and so everyone's on edge. Like they fit in a lot of cliches.
Yeah.
Thank you. So they fit in a lot of cliches, but at the same time, so you could make this movie 10 times, and 9 times out of 10 it won't work. But I think what made it work this time, that 1 out of 10 times, is that I think that the actors had heart, and I think they performed. The performances were good, and that the writing was good enough to not make it too silly or ridiculous, and it's a nice little movie that just, I think, works, and it's a fun movie.
Most of all, I loved Danny Glover and just how all of these characters, it was basically kind of the fallout of losing this wonderful woman, this mother, this wife who was in their lives, and how they all had to come together and learn how to continue on, but still cherish in her memory. I don't want to spoil the ending. The ending made Mr. ReelRebel tear up. So I was
getting cut out.
Nope, I'm the editor. I'm gonna give it 4 cat paws. If you can watch this movie, highly recommended.
It's 1 cat paw. Any movie that makes me tear up is a horrible, horrible, horrible movie. That's the only reason why I tear up, is because of how bad it is. I give it 3.5 cat paws.
Okay. Hey Ash, are you hungry?
Rebel is a bit of a liar. She has a problem.
I wanted to bring it up.
That's why I'm here, just to fact check her as we go through this. Just to hold
that
her
I'm false.
Yeah.
You're false.
I'm not even really married to her. I'm just some guy she found on the street.
Oh my God.
Is it really?
So much of this is going to get cut out.
Oh, come on. Some of this will be fun.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Here's our finished gingerbread house. Not too bad. Here's the front door.
I think we missed our calling.
I think so too. Got all the Christmas lights on there. It's beautiful. Got all the windows done. We even did both sides. Looks just like the box. What do you think?
That's all you're going to say after everything you've been saying this whole time?
Do you like it? Do you like it? Are you a good boy? Yeah. Did you have a little taste of the frosting when Mommy and Daddy weren't looking? Yeah. All right. Thanks. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.